Hi students, this is a brief essay on the definition essay. The definition essay defines a word, term, or concept in depth by providing a personal commentary on what the specific subject means. What do I mean by that? This is where we extend the definition of something, okay? Most physical objects have a definition and we agree upon it, such as we all agree what a tree is, what a window is, what a computer is, and what a pencil is. Yes, we do, okay? These objects all have specific physical properties and attributes about them that most people can agree on. So we would never write an essay about something so minuscule, okay? Abstract terms such as love, pain, patriotism, things like that, capitalism, have different meanings for different individuals since these words happen to play on people's feelings along with what they know rather than just their physical senses. So these words are multi-dimensional, okay? Usually people can go on and on and on about those words. I mean, think about what you could say about pain. I'm sure several instances of your life you have experienced pain. Same thing for love or the lack thereof. We could go on and on about the meaning of love. It is subjective, which means that every last one of us has our own definition for what we think love is. Alright, so again, the definition essay provides a personal, extended definition of these terms by linking or comparing the term to a previous definition and by illustrating how this term should be applied, okay? Now, this is how we set up the definition essay, okay? We select the subject carefully first, okay? Since these essays are somewhat personal in nature, we want to select our subject based on our own need to clarify the term, okay? So this must be something that you are pretty adamant about defining and wanting people to know about, okay? You want to make very good sense of the word to be able to explain and to get people to visualize what this word means, okay? Perhaps you are a parent. Maybe you want the world to know what discipline means. Well, that's multifaceted, right? Okay? From your point of view, you may have a lot to say about what discipline means. And that will make a great essay, right? Right. Okay? Select a term. This is part 2 of selecting a subject, okay? Select a term or subject that you know well enough that you can provide specific examples so that you can illustrate your definition. For example, if you don't know what platonic relationship or platonic love means, don't even try to attempt to define it. Stay away from it. Let's stay away from words that we have to do extended research to understand. Which means that yes, it's good to do research, but for the purposes of a definition essay, we want to stick with something we already have a foundational knowledge of. Now, if you want to do additional research, sure, but surely nothing that we're totally ignorant about. That will not make for the best definition essay, okay? You need to be ready to supply specific examples. That's why, okay? 3, don't select a subject that is either too broad or too specific to fit the parameters of your essay, which means if you're trying to define the word hat, which is not even a concept worth defining, if you were to choose that word, you're not going to get very far in the basis of trying to write an essay. I mean, there's not very much to be said about a hat, okay? On the other hand, the word love, let's narrow down love because love is very broad. As a matter of fact, it's entirely too broad. Love probably needs to be narrowed down to romantic love, agape, something, some specific form of love. Woo! All right. Once you have selected a subject, you need to outline your paper. So, step 1 was to pick that subject, and then I gave you advice about picking a subject. Okay? But now, here's how to set up your definition essay paper. So here's the actual format. I apologize if I said that was the format at first, but actually what I just gave you, again, was how to pick a subject to write on as far as the definition essay. So here's the actual setup of the actual paper. First you will start with an attention grabber. That's part 1. Okay? You probably want to include the denotation or dictionary definition as a basis for the attention grabber. Or you might want to start with a contradictory image. I like to call that concept attainment, whereas you provide something worth comparing to so that someone understands. So maybe the opposite. Explain the opposite of what your word means so the one can visualize what the truth is, if that makes sense. Okay? You can use either way as an intention grabber. But first part, for your introduction, you need an intention grabber. Okay? The second part of your introduction needs to include a thesis, which is state how you define the term very simply. If you can write a definition using specific points, this will be good. Okay? Part 2, the body. First, you want to include background information. Okay? Sometimes this is unnecessary in the paper, but sometimes not. Okay? You want to create a connection to your word to the past. So just whatever background information can be provided, this will go in the body. Okay? The very first part of the body of the paper. Then you will go into your first point. This is part 2 of body. You go into your first point. The first part of your definition of the term, give an example to illustrate the point, and give an analysis of how your example illustrates the point. Okay? Then the third part of the body, you will illustrate point 2. You will give an example of point 2. And then you will give an analysis of point 2. So just to review, you have the introduction, which includes an attention grabber. Then you have the body, which the first part of the body has background information, where you give a connection to the past or something else relatable. Then you give point number 1, example to illustrate point number 1, and analysis of point number 1. Then you give point number 2, give an example of point number 2, give an analysis of how point number 2 illustrates what the definition is. And if you have a third point, do it the same way. The third part of the definition, okay, explain or illustrate the point, okay, and then give an analysis of how the example illustrates that point. Okay? Then, last but not least, we have a conclusion. Review your definition's main points. Give a closing attention grabber. Okay? Sometimes you might want to reference back to the opening attention getter. That's a way of unifying the entire essay. Okay? You may want to close with an explanation of how your definition has affected you. This might end up being a personal application. Okay? All right. So, at this point in class, I'm going to give you an example outline of a definition essay on patriotism. Okay? We'll look at that now. Now, my last points that I want to drive home for you when writing the definition essay. Make sure that you have a good, clear thesis that tells the reader how exactly you will define the term. Okay? Follow your outline and remind yourself that you need examples and analysis of all parts of your definition. Which means if you're explaining one part of the definition, you need to give an example, and then you need to explain or give an analysis of that example every time. Okay? Use good, clear, specific examples to illustrate each point. Okay? Allow readers to visualize your definition. That means just like in an anecdote essay or any other essay, fully explain yourself. Do not spare the details. Okay? More nouns, more verbs, less adjectives. Okay? Provide good transitions when linking various parts of the essay. Okay? Always have a good conclusion that brings these parts of the definition together and leaves readers with an image of how the definition is applied. Okay? And be sure to proofread. So, to summarize, when we think of a definition essay, we're thinking of the extension of a word, fully explained, applied to oneself, applied universally. We are thinking of a word in its entirety. We are breaking the word down, okay? You have to have an outline on how you're going to break the word down. How do you do that? That is going to be on you. But like I said, how to set it up? Again, start with an introduction, attention grabber, then in your body, again, you will have background information, your 3 points, and your 3 points need to always define that part, illustrate that part, and analyze that part. In your conclusion, you will review the definition's main points. You might want to close with an example of how the definition has affected you, a personal application. And again, a closing attention getter, maybe referencing the first part of your essay. If any part of this is unclear or you need help, you know where to find me. You know my email address and phone number. I invite you to use all of your search engine tools, your literature book, your grammar book, and of course other English teachers in the building if you have other questions that maybe I'm not giving you the best clarification on. But anyway, I hope you understand now what a definition essay is and are able to write one. Watch this video over and over again until it sinks in. Have a great day.